What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, getting down with Fresh Out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know I'm always bringing you the game. Also go to freshoutseries.com and pick you up some merch and wash your ass. I'm here with my good friend Rick Duchovny, and we're talking about mindset and how there's multiple realities going on at one time. There's not just one reality. You know, we see social media and, you know, people hear things, say things, you think, oh my God, you know, this is going on, that's going on. You change another channel, oh, this is ending, we're doing this. And it's a lot of, there's a lot of just energy, whether it's negative or positive, that's affecting your mental algorithm. And anytime I feel like I'm being overwhelmed, or I feel like, you know, there's so much doom and gloom or anything going on, I go back to a place where when I was in the penitentiary and I used to think about what I would do if I was free. And then I remember when I got free in 2008 October, I didn't have a pot to piss in. I had, you know, a couple $100 in my name, and I had some other stuff, some books I had published and some other things. But I was so excited for the potential to be back into society. I didn't realize that the 2008 financial crisis, the stock market had crashed, and people were losing jobs, losing homes, and all this stuff. I didn't even know any of that, but I was happy. And so I was explaining that to Rick, and, you know, like he was saying, you know, your mental is such a big part of your happiness and how you see life. And so, Rick, man, I mean, can you kind of break that down, like your perspective? Because I've shared a little bit of mine.
Yeah,
but
it's really everything. Like your mindset, your belief system, what you think you need to do to be happy is driving everything about your happiness. You know, you can't control what happens in the world. But like we were saying, there's like 8 billion realities. Every single person has their own version of reality. And what goes into your reality is how you define things. Like we were saying, it's as simple as like, there's always 1,000 positives in every given moment and 1,000 negatives. Mm-hmm. I could sit here focusing on how, you know, my underwear's uncomfortable or this, or I could be like, this is the fucking best ass conversation I've had in a fucking long time with Big Herc, right? Like there's always, so if somebody's a negative person, if they're just gonna list me 10 things from that list of 1,000 negatives every moment, that's the conversation we're always gonna have. Yeah, if it's not the bus being late, it's the car breaking down. When somebody decides they're gonna focus on the positive, they're always gonna find opportunity. Ooh, my bus broke down. Okay, I get to go have a conversation with this person now. Find the you're gonna miss the opportunity. Yeah. It's like a video game. If you're gonna be complaining about what just happened, you're gonna fucking miss it. The game goes on. The timer's ticking. Let's go. You know what I mean? And that's all mindset. Like I know for me, how I was a much more negative person before, finding trouble, you know, taking things personally. For example, I had a definition in my mind. If someone said a certain thing, that's a personal attack. I got to defend myself. Now I just see the truth. Even if someone says something negative, I always go, what is he really saying or she saying? Usually they got their own issues. It's not mine to take. So just that perspective shift, just that ideology shift has changed how I react to something. I used to have bad days. I really hardly ever have bad days. I might have a bad moment and I'll catch myself. And this is just through years and years of practicing, like focusing on something from a different perspective, catching myself going, wow, am I really stressed out right now, or am I just putting that on myself? Because if I look at it from a perspective of being in a worse situation like I have been, all of a sudden, the stock market issue, the real estate crash doesn't matter. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be free. It's a choice. That day you could have said, fuck being free, man. My real estate investment went down, right? You had that choice, but it was easier for you to focus on because of your situation. But it's in our control every moment, every day.
Well, that's, you know, going back to that, you know, I say that you're not compelled to have to tune into what everybody else is tuning in. You know, one of the most obvious, if you look at like even during the last couple of years, all the drama, there were people like when I used to go for walks and the streets would be empty because everybody was scared to be out, and I would see people on the street, it's like they didn't have a care in the world. They had the streets. They were free.
Right.
No man, they'd run around doing what they wanted to do. And I'm looking like, I used to be like, literally, these people have more freedom than these other people barricaded in their house in fear. And it's like the fear, these people don't even know what's going on because they're not watching TV. So it's like the mindset, how powerful it is. They invoked fear among millions, but then you have all these other people literally at the beach. They got the whole beach to themselves. I see people kicking in and just doing what they want to do. And I'm like, it's crazy. So I would go out and just walk and meditate and work out in my garage and just really just think about all the good things that I had in life and how grateful I was in spite of them saying the world's on lockdown. You know, it's like, oh, because fear is a very powerful emotion.
Very powerful, man.
It can cause you to react. It can make you sick, make you ill, cause all kind of just different things. And so when you understand the power of emotions and how to control those things, it's like no different than a man. He don't have to put his hands on a woman. He can be verbally abusive to his wife or kids. And it can be worse than any whooping. So words are powerful, emotions powerful. And when you can learn how to control your emotions and understand, like you said, for every positive, there's a negative where you don't realize how many different variables you had in that choice you made.
Exactly.
It's not just one. It's like going to a store and you picked out the black Latigo. You could have got a blue one, a white one. They had an off yellow one. There's many, many different choices, but people think, they don't have no choice.
Right.
You have a choice. Nobody's telling you to do what they told you to do. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, and that's why, like, I don't, you want to be around people that are also thinking positive, because it is like you have to train yourself.
You got to train yourself.
And it's not about like controlling it in terms of like, oh, I'm going to make myself not have that emotion. You could have that emotion, but then when you get good at catching yourself and being self-aware, you go, oh, I'm having that emotion. Okay, what's the best course of action to serve me? That's where I'm coming from too. Like with the mindset is like, do what serves you best. Like this is stoicism, man. Like, be logical.
Yeah.
It's all logical. It's all based on logic. Like, okay, me getting angry, all pissed off and yelling, I could do that. I feel the anger, but is that gonna serve me? Or being chill, respecting this person so that they don't feel like I'm degrading them, and then saying, look, this is what I need. This is why I'm probably gonna get what I want more. And I found that to be true, so I just started serving myself more. I just started choosing the action that's gonna serve me and just be logical about it. You know what I mean? It's a choice.
I think
looking at it from a positive, all of that, man.
I think that comes with a lot of reflection, and also though just taking time to like just think, because a lot of people don't really want to think. They'll get out and they'll see something and make a comment. Oh, I can't believe they posted this, and they'll get you getting emotional over a comment, over a picture.
Right.
You don't even know that person. Just turn your phone off. People get so caught up. And the thing is, the people who put that out there are looking for that.
Right.
So they can create that and get reaction. There's no difference than a lot of things we see going on right now with social media. They want people to react, and they know that we can get you to react. That means we can still control you to do what we want you to do through whatever we want to create the reaction from.
Right.
And it's a game they play, because they know they got science, they got whiteboard, and they got stuff drawn up, and this is the end result.
Right.
And they can put that up there. So you got to outthink that and think about not, the actual product itself, but why did they do that? And do you even have to pay attention to it?
Exactly.
Why? You don't have to.
You don't have to.
No.
Right. And you can decide to think about it differently. And like you said, man, it does come from self-awareness. I'm not saying I'm the most self-aware, but I was definitely until like, let's say 35, completely going on autopilot, man. Because I never even understood the concept of being self-aware. What does that mean?
Yeah.
It's really just, it's practicing, like meditate, like understanding meditate, just being in the moment, right? Questioning all your beliefs. Like I went through a whole thing, man. Like honestly, I hit rock bottom with my divorce. That's what got me to go, shit, man, I don't have this figured out. That's what it was. Oftentimes you hit your rock bottom, wherever that is. My divorce, feeling like I'm abandoning my kids, you know what I mean? Like I'm leaving the household. All that made me like stop and rethink everything. And that's when I was like, shit, like a lot of the things I thought were just true, because that's how I was raised. Like the way I communicated, the way I was with, as a husband, I started going, okay, what's serving me though? What's really serving me? And that's when I started understanding emotional intelligence, like communicating better, looking at the positives, not taking, do I need to take things personally even from other people? Do I need to watch the news? It's my choice too.
Yeah,
And if I watch the news, do I need to adopt what they're telling me? No, I don't. Question everything, man. But at the end of the day, the one North Star is choose the thing that serves you best. And usually it's the right thing. Like being nice to people usually serves you best. Defending yourself, being assertive of what you believe in serves you best. Like the way I talk to young people, man, I also tell them like, be selfish. Like if I was talking to somebody that's broken, let's say I've talked to like gangbangers hey, are you being selfish? Yeah, I do whatever I want. I'm like, are you? Is that serving you well? Are you getting what you want out of this game? Maybe not. I go, well, then you're not being selfish. If you were being truly selfish, you would serve yourself better. You would make better decisions. You would surround yourself with people that support you, that you support them. When you're truly being selfish and serving yourself, you do things you love. You get good at it. You work hard. People think they're being selfish, but they're being stupid.
Yeah, and they don't think things through, and then they think that they are somehow emotionally tied to something.
Yeah.
You know,
or they're angry. They're tied to anger, but is that serving you? Why don't you just go?
Or beliefs.
Yeah.
You know, you said something earlier, and I like to use the analogy of a car all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, say, some people buy a car and it's already put together, it drives, right? But you look at, I don't really like these seats, so maybe swap the seats out. Oh, the exhaust is not cool, I'm gonna change the exhaust. Oh, I don't like the stereo, I'm gonna change the stereo. So I built a lot of cars, so I always start off, like I said, let's get a good chassis. I'm gonna figure out the drive shaft, what type of transmission, engines, and what type of suspension, and then you start building out from there. Now, a lot of times we have all these parts from different people, and we're driving this car, and it's not even our car. It's somebody else's car that we've adopted and we've made it our own, but it's not really ours.
Right.
So once you start questioning that and you take the car all apart, you might realize, oh man, the only thing you want to keep off the old car is the alternator. That's it. You might, get new tires.
Saying, bro. Look, that's what I'm saying. Most people, don't have their shit together. Even I don't feel like I have it always together, right? So the point is, when you grow up, you take on naturally, the belief systems of, your parents and surrounding environment. But what if they didn't figure it out? You got to be willing to be honest with. That's what happened to me. I was just like, shit, man, the things that are working for me, keep it. If there's something I like, I'm tough, I'm this, I don't give up. Well, don't give that up. Mm-hmm. Don't just throw it all away, right? But take the good parts and then be willing to, it's hard to admit to yourself that your foundation is faulty. That shakes your whole, for me, growing up with a, very old school dad that was self-help books, you don't know how to live, that's the attitude. For me to admit, man, I better rethink some of this shit that isn't serving me. This getting fucking angry.
Yeah.
And not talking, I used to do silent treatment with my ex, right? I don't want to talk to you. I wouldn't talk to her for 5 days. I thought, that's how I was raised. You show your strength. Now I'm I'm not getting what I want. I don't need to do that to be assertive about what I want, have a positive conversation. Hey, honey, this has been bothering me. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of that too is ego.
Yeah,
I remember,
it's ego, bro. I know.
It's ego.
I'm admitting that my chassis is faulty.
Yeah, and nobody wants to admit. Imagine you brought a race car out there. You're like, oh, my car is hot. I'm doing this and that. That's how you go run a track. I'm like, man, your car. And you're like, yeah, man, you're right, man. You see the way I was hitting those corners, bro? I was shaking like a little mini bike, man. And you were backfiring and this and that. Your cylinder number 7 was misfiring. So there's a lot of things, and I had to bite that reality when I got to the pen. And I was, I met this older gentleman who was 20 years my senior, and he would ask me questions about myself, and I would feel like he's attacking me. But it wasn't an attack, it was a question of myself, and I didn't have an answer, so I felt I was being attacked, and that was all ego. You know what I mean? And I had pride, and then I realized that I didn't really know as much as I thought I knew, and that's embarrassing because nobody wants to feel like that, you don't know. So
our whole life, people around us are protected. We're all, not to make excuses, but Like my dad never admitted that he was wrong, ever. Sorry, Dad. Never fuck. That's fine. I love him, by the way, and accept. I don't go, I'm a victim. He didn't. No, I just go, hey, thank you for arming me with some good shit, and I got to rebuild some stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because that's not working for him either. It's a lot of pain to be a certain way.
Yeah.
But you got to be willing. That's what it was, ego, man.
Yeah.
Especially like, a man's man. Like we don't go telling our friends, yeah, I fucked up. My foundation is fucked up.
Yeah.
But if you want to build, like, I like to use a house analogy for that same thing. Like if you want to build something big, you better get that foundation right. So you better be willing to go, all right, man, let me just start let me just rebuild some of this shit. You got to be willing to tell yourself that. And that's what it took for me. And it was a lot of time, like reading books. Like I read anger management books. I'll be honest. I never wanted to admit I have an anger management problem. Probably I did. Now that I look back, I did, man, because I wasn't able to control my anger in a way that served me. Right? I'd be cool, and then I'd go, yeah, well, blah, 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 blah. Well, once you do that, you lost that argument.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm tired of being the bad guy. Well, control yourself, right? And once I read this book, man, I'm telling you, Cow in the Parking Lot. Great little fucking Buddhist book.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at the fucking cow. It's just a cow. Don't take it personally. Like all that kind of mentality. And then how to be assertive, right? How to be assertive without being a dick, right?
Yeah.
How to ask for what you want, but without being aggressive. And also how to say no to people without feeling guilty.
Well,
these were things that were fucking me up, bro.
There's a couple books out there. I always tell people that they should go read. One of the books, and I don't get sponsored by this, but it was called Conversation with God. Mm-hmm. It's by, I want to say Neil Walsh or Donald Walsh. It's a very, very simplistic question, like having a conversation with God, because I'm more of a spiritual person. But, it has a lot of, it makes you kind of sit back and reflect. And then I read, it's a pretty simple book. It's George Orwell's Animal Farm.
Mm-hmm. I've read that.
You read, I mean, it's simple, but you read the book, you're like, it makes you kind of look at things like society, and it's like, wow, very simplistic, but very, you almost got to read the book 2 or 3 times, like, wow, this is crazy, how it makes sense to them, people, personalities, and and different things. So, it just popped in my head, those 2 books, outside of like a lot of history stuff and this other things out there, but there's, you got to put in the work, and you can't expect to look at a 2-minute or 5-minute media clip and think that that's all the information. Right. And a lot of people, that's where they get their knowledge from now. If people aren't, they're not going to the library and looking at, I remember back in the day getting old periodicals or microfiche to look up old stories that not on a, on a computer. So, and now everything is Google, which Google can put whatever they want at the top.
Right. Well, an inspiring quote is just scratching the surface. When you go deeper and understand, like, the way to learn is to understand why. That's how people learn new things. They go, oh, that's why one slice of pizza and another slice of pizza make 2, because, right, once you connect the thing that you already know with something else, you learn something new, right? So to learn something, you got to go deep.
That's right.
Then the quote will make sense to you. But if you just stay on the 2-minute video, it's hard, man.
Well, it's almost like going back and reading.
And you got to practice, too.
An old dictionary.
Yeah.
Like the old West or the old Black's Law. You look at what a word really means.
Right.
And how they use it today. It's them bastardized. It's not even the same word no more.
Right.
But they're using it openly, and they're telling you stuff. You're like, hold on. That's not what this is based on. It's supposed to be this right here. But people don't, like you said, they don't research and don't know, and then therefore they're developing this character all off of false pretenses. So,
But I do think you can get a lot from listening. Because reading is just words on paper, right? Like listening is words in your ear. So as long as they're willing to do the work. Because that's what happened with me. Like, I don't think you can get away with not reading the books as long as you are getting the information. And
around the right people, though.
Practicing it, yes. Because once I read the books, I didn't, like I said, like working out. You can read a workout book, but unless you go to the fucking gym and do it
gonna do nothing,
for long periods of time. Same with the mental thing. Like they go, well, I read the book. That's not going to get you there. That's like get you 5% there. Yeah. And then you got to do the work.
Practical application.
Yeah. Catching yourself and making mistakes. Because like I still, to this day, slip. It's about going, oh man, did that serve me? No, it didn't. Shit. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to keep track for yourself so you can keep getting better.
That's right.
You know, it's like watching game film and getting better, man. If you want to be a championship team,
Gotta
you
study.
got to be willing to watch the game film and say, yes, you fucking missed the pick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
take responsibility, baby.
Hey, and there you have it. Big Herc 916 and Rick Duchovny, fresh out. You tired of smelling like stanky butt, funky armpits? Wash your ass. Go to freshoutseries.com and pick you up a bar of soap.